Good morning and welcome to our 5th grade Pod 3 End of Year Awards Assembly. I'm Principal Scott Ryan and I'm thrilled. This has been a long time coming. In fact, last night I asked my phone, I was curious, it's been a long time since we've had parents in the school for a school program. Last year our award assemblies were broadcast online, which we're doing today. Welcome everybody who's online. But Veterans Day Assembly 2019 was the last time we had parents in this gym for a program. So I asked my phone, 918 days since we've had parent guests. So parents, welcome back. I was so thrilled when we got the green light to have parents back for our assemblies. And I'm pretty sure that's a good sign of things to come next year in our schools. That we look forward to having a lot of the events we've missed having, things that make principal and teacher and parents' hearts happy, we're going to be able to do again. So this is just the beginning. So welcome, and we're glad you're here to help us celebrate kids today. We have a series of amazing awards to give out to students today. It's always exciting to celebrate success. I want our students to feel proud and accomplished today. At Lakeview, we're not looking to celebrate always the top grade in the class or the kid that had the highest score on whatever activity it was. Sometimes we still do that. But we also really stress and want students to focus on their growth, their improvement. So you will hear lots of awards today that were chosen for reasons other than being necessarily the top scorer in the grade book or the student who has the most mastery of something. We have students who are chosen for great citizenship. We have students who are chosen for great effort or exceptional interest or growth in a content area. So it's always thrilling to me to see and celebrate the great things our students do. So how this will work is students listen up in case you get called up here so you know what to do. Our teachers, there's a series of awards, and so each teacher will give the awards for their group of kids, and they will call your name, and you'll come down, and I'm going to be over here where people can see me. There we go, here I am. You're going to come down and have a big smile on your face because you're on the internet, and you got your family here maybe watching, and so come across, after your teacher calls your name, you'll get the certificate from Mrs. Mann, who's our wonderful 5th grade counselor. Thank you, Mrs. Mann, for helping us out today. And then you will come proudly over here, shake my hand, good firm handshake, shake Mrs. Frame's hand, Mrs. Frame, our amazing assistant principal. And then you will stand just to Mrs. Frame's left, right about where I'm at. I'll be there, Mrs. Frame here, and students, you'll stand here with your certificate, and each student that gets a certificate after, and we'll just have a line. Most of our groups, there's like groups of 4 or 5 the teachers are calling, and so you'll stand in the line right here with your certificate, and we can do a big round of applause for each student as they come across. That's awesome, because it's one student at a time. And then, once everybody is called, the teacher will say, those are my students that won this award. And then students who have won in this line, you'll hold up your certificate with a big smile, because you may have family here who are taking your picture, and you're also still on camera for family that couldn't be here. They'll watch it later. And so hold up your certificate and smile big smiles. And parents, that's why we've got you right here. We've got the perfect photo op for you right here. And then we'll do one more big round of applause, send that in back, and the next teacher will come, and we'll just go right on through our program. All right. So let's get started. We'll get into a flow as we get into it. Our first awards today are our subject awards. And so our teachers have chosen a student in their each class who has excelled or showed exceptional effort or growth. Again, it's not always the top student in that subject. The teacher has a specific reason as to why they feel that student best exemplifies earning that subject award. So leading off our subject awards, Miss Rundle. Come on down.
I'm Ms. Rundle. I teach 5th grade math and science, so I'll be giving out the subject awards for math and science. In math, in my homeroom, a student that rocks almost every single math assignment works really, really hard, even though it doesn't appear he needs to always work that hard, and has done a great job this year. Mr. Julian Rosa. In Ms. Gusto's homeroom, another student who rocks most math assignments, has great math conversations with me, and has done a great job this year is Maverick Thomason. In science, I have really enjoyed reading the explanations and hearing explanations from this student. Has turned in top-notch work in science with great scientific explanations. That's Mr. Kellen Hill. And also with excellent, in our discussions in class, I really appreciate how this student participates and the things that she shares and the ideas that come up. And she has really rocked it in science this year. That's Miss Bailey Johnson. And with our Social Studies and ELA awards, it's Ms. Bustos.
All right, so I am one of the ELA Social Studies teachers in Pod 3. So we are going to start with Ms. Rundle's class. So the most outstanding student for reading, this person, really I could have given a lot of awards to because she is just an absolute rock star in everything she does. It is Miss Kate Maddox. All right, for my class, she's also a Rockstar student. I chose her for this award specifically because of how much she takes her time. So even though something might be more difficult for her or whatever, if the classroom is finished before her, she doesn't budge. She just kind of stays in the game, takes her time, and does an awesome job. So that is Miss Rachel Sparkman. All right, now for social studies, we're going to switch back to Ms. Grundle's class. He is someone who usually gives fantastic participation in discussions and things like that. It is Mr. Phoenix Richmond. All right, and for our classroom, I also chose someone who has fantastic discussions during class and when we're not learning about social studies, he'll just kind of come up to me and ask me random questions like about the Civil War or et cetera, et cetera. He's just a great conversation person to have things with. So for social studies in my class, it's Mr. Braylon. All right, and now to present, next is Mrs. Ellis. all for being here today. So I also teach English Language Arts and Social Studies in Pod 3. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started with my homeroom, correct? Okay. My homeroom for English Language Arts. This student is a student that I could give a lot of different awards to, so it's difficult to decide. And as Mrs. York and I were talking, and just trying to figure out which one would be best for this student. She is exceptional when it comes to her writing skills and just knowing all of our standards. I feel like she had mastered so many before, even the second semester, so it was fun this last semester to kind of continue to push her as far as we can get her. And so I'm gonna miss this student so much, but she's exceptional, and this goes to Miss Addison Croft. And in Mrs. York's class, this girl, it was easy. I knew from day one I had to give this award to her. Wow, her writing is incredible. She prefers to type because she likes to write a lot, but she is just incredible at knowing her standards as well, particularly literary genres. She had helped me a little bit this year when we were doing a game. She can come up and teach all the time, and she is phenomenal when it comes to all subjects, but I feel like reading especially sticks out for her, and that is Miss Eva Butcher. She also has the best hair pretty much every day, so. Okay, and now we're gonna move on to social studies. So social studies is a crowd favorite, I feel like, especially in 5th grade, we talk about the Revolutionary War, and it's just a great time. And we just have a lot of discussions, and it's funny because I'll share an experience, and then 25 hands go up with experience that they've had. But this student in particular can tell you pretty much anything that we've learned this year in social studies, front and back. He just loves it. He loves to talk about it and quit it. And we have a few boys up there, and I think you guys are wrong, because the one that I'm giving it to today is Mr. Everett Cox. And in Mrs. York's class, the same thing, except for a little different in the sense that this kiddo, he just is kind of a sponge. Whenever I talk anything social studies, the next day, anytime I'm like, okay, so what did we talk about yesterday? He can tell you the whole lesson. And this kiddo, I've just enjoyed seeing him come out of his shell this year as well. His discussions are always great, and that is Mr. Enzo Bonilla. And next up to present is my amazing partner, Mrs. York.
Good morning, I'm Mrs. York, and I just wanted to say something about my 2 classes this year, Miss Ellis and I. I can't tell you how many times she and I just looked at each other and we're like, we love our kids. Even on those days when maybe they're pushing our buttons a little bit, we would not trade them for anything. So thank you, parents, for sharing them with us this year. We really appreciate it. Today I will be giving out the Math and Science Award for both classes. we'll do it this way. I'm so sorry. Okay, so this guy, from the very beginning, this is from Mrs. Ellis's class, he rocked not only the 5th grade standards, but he jumped into our advanced folder and was simultaneously doing not only the 5th grade standards, but also the 6th grade standards. He also ruled when it came to our March Math Madness for Pod 3 and part of Pod 1, and his name is Jude Garner. Next, in my homeroom class, gosh, I could say almost the exact same thing. This kiddo came in and told me immediately, I love math, I'm usually the top math student, and he wasn't saying that to like brag, he was just letting me know, hey, you're gonna need to challenge me this year. And I think I did that a few times. He had a few head scratchers. He did well in the advanced folder from the beginning. And at first he was like, oh, maybe I'd just rather do the 5th grade. But when we pushed him a little bit harder, he did join in with the advanced as well and has just really been awesome all year long. And that is Mr. Luke Purdy. The next award will be science, and I look at science just a little bit different. It may not be about getting all 3s and 4s or anything like that. I'm looking for someone who has high interest, who loves the labs that we do, participates well, likes to argue a little bit about what their stance is, and we got really good at that this year in a positive way. And they learned how to disagree with each other and still be respectful. And our science award from Mrs. Ellis's class is Seth Darcy. Stars and space was his choice, for sure. This other young man, when school first started, he was probably a little bit more reserved. I even remember telling his parents, hey, I want him to step out more, put himself out on a limb a little bit more with his ideas. And this second semester, he did that. He did well in all of our labs. He communicated well. He wasn't afraid to say, hey, I disagree with you, and this is why. And that is Mr. Carson Cooper. And next I have Mrs. Frank to explain the next award.
The next few awards celebrate growth and effort in lessons passed. At UConn, we use iStations and Imagine Math to track student growth in reading and in math. The first 2 awards that math teachers will present acknowledge the most lessons passed in Imagine Math. So these students are students in the class that have passed the most lessons. And then the second one is the most improved, so it's celebrating growth in Imagine Math. And then ELA teachers will present the most growth in iStations for reading. We'll start with Ms. Rendell.
For my most lessons passed winners, I can actually say the exact same thing. That they are both, they both have natural gift in math. They're able to process math skills pretty quickly, but they also, when they finish their work and have the opportunity to get on Imagine Math, they got on, they went to work, and they worked from the beginning of the school year till the end, and that is why they have the most lessons passed. So for my homeroom, it is Julian Rosa. And for Ms. Bustos' homeroom, it is Ty Nelson. When we looked at growth in math, it was really amazing because we had students that grew almost 4 times as much as we would have expected them to grow in one school year. So I'm very impressed with these people that started out and stayed with it to the very end. In my homeroom, this person, in the beginning of the year, I think that she was struggling, but she kept with it all year long and was the highest growth in our entire, across both classes. And that is Miss Katie Smith. Well done. In Ms. Bustos' class, we had a student, actually 2 students, that showed exceptional growth, started out pretty strong and still was able to push way ahead of many other students. With the most growth in Ms. Bustos' room, it is Rachel Sparkman. And in her class, and Ms. Bustos will come and give the ISIP growth awards.
Okay, now to present the most growth for ISIP for reading, I'm going to start with my homeroom. This first person has grown over 20 percentile points from the beginning of the school year. At first, I think that he also struggled a little bit, but he has proven to stick with it, and this is why he was chosen. So our first winner is Joe Dobby. All right, and in my homeroom, our second winner is Emmett Mackey. All right, and in Miss Rundle's homeroom, I'm going to say the same thing. She has stuck with it and absolutely killed it. She by far was the most growth for ISIP, and this is Lily Martin. All right, and now to present next is Mrs. Ellis.
Okay, so for our ISIP, for showing the most growth, wow. Both of our classes, it was absolutely amazing just to see where they were in September to where they finished. I like the April one a little bit better, but to where they are in May was really great to see as well. But these 2 students, first from my homeroom, this young man grew tremendously and really kind of showed that consistency throughout the entire school year. We had a little bit of ebb and flow, but for the most part, continued to grow, and that is Mr. Everett Cox. then from Mrs. York's homeroom, this is a young lady, and I'm really proud of her in so many ways. I love that she got an ISIP Growth Award, because I've also just seen growth from her throughout the entire school year, both in academics, but also socially, and she's amazing. I wish I could have a few more of her. And so that goes to Miss Brittany Martin. And Mrs. York will make her way up for Imagine That.
I'm going to be giving the awards for Imagine Math. The first one, well, first of all, I want to talk about our two classes just really quick. They get Think points for participating in Imagine Math. And on Ellis York team, they earned over 1.1 million Think points this year, so nice job. They donated these for several different awards, and just recently they achieved the awards for pieing their teachers in the face on the last day of school. So we'll be enjoying that, so nice job. This young lady from Mrs. Ellis's class, she's one that I don't ever have to worry about. When she's finished, she knows what to do next, whether it be Imagine Math or going on to the next task. She was one that easily could have also got my math award because she just rocks it all the time and is also willing to help others that are struggling. And that goes to Miss Addison Crawford. And in my homeroom, this young lady has not only passed the 5th grade pathway, the 6th grade pathway, but is currently working on the 7th grade pathway, and that goes to Ms. Eva Butcher. Next, we have for Imagine Math, the most improved, and that, the first young man from Miss Ellis's class, he had to work really hard at the beginning of the year. And I visited with his parents a few times about giving him extra help, but all of a sudden, it's like a light came on, and he just took off like a lightning bolt, and has just excelled the rest of the year. And that goes to Lee Furtado. And the growth in Imagine Math in my class, this kiddo is, I thought I had him pegged at the beginning, and he surprised me about a fourth of the way through. And even though in the beginning he didn't get into our advanced math folder, he just kept asking, can I just do it? Can you see how I do? And at first I said, oh, let's see how it goes. And then I gave in, and let me tell you, this kid is amazing. And with the most growth, it goes to Mr. Enzo Benito Jimenez. next is Mrs. Frank.
Okay, the next award celebrates improvement. So teachers had open criteria that they could choose any student that was the most improved. It may be in subject area, it may have been overall, in behavior, in effort, in Miller 5, just any areas that the teachers felt that they wanted to recognize a student for improvement. And we will start with Miss Rundle.
The student that earned most improved student in my classroom was someone who kind of got off to a slow start, which a lot of us did, coming back after COVID and weirdo year, and it was just hard to get back in the groove. And this student struggled with getting in the groove, keeping his head in the game. But let me tell you, the last several months, he is all in, and I have just loved seeing the changes that have taken place, and that is Mr. Anthony Borson. And Ms. Bustos will be next to present.
All right, so the most improved student for my homeroom, schooling has definitely not been easy for her, but she has not let that stop her. Just her consistency with effort and being a standout student in different small groups and in whole group and just all the way around. She is often pointed out for being the one doing the right thing. So for our most improved is Miss Kamora Calder. All right, and Mrs. Ellis will present next.
Okay, this is one of my favorite awards. The student that I've chosen for this award is so extremely kind, respectful, aims to please at all times, is hilarious, doesn't look at me crazy whenever I'm doing wild dances because he'll just join in with me. And one of the most special moments that I have from this year is we do Student of the Week every week. And this student in particular, whenever he won, was very emotional, and it made us emotional as well. And so this award is going to Mr. You ready for it? Kialibi Omani for top. And Mrs. York will be next.
This is one of my favorites as well, and I enjoyed just talking back and forth with Miss Ellis about who we might choose and narrowing that down and talking about all the different ways that these kiddos have improved this year, not only intellectually, but socially, has just been amazing. This young lady is very shy. She came in with probably not a lot of confidence, but once we started having small groups and getting with her and she started being a rock star there, she just took off. You'll just see her eyes light up, and when she knows an answer, she may not blurt it out, but you can tell she's just vibrating in her seat, ready to give me the answer. And that young lady is Miss Chloe Pocus. Next, we have Mr. Hunt.
Isn't that fun? I love it, and I love hearing our teachers speak such loving words. Students, you can tell your teachers know you, recognize all the things, big and little, that you do to grow. And I want to remind our students that it's something that I've always tried to do myself, is it can be dangerous to compare yourself to others. You can be sitting in your seat and going, oh, well, I wish I had the most lessons passed, or I wish I had more growth than that person, or I had the higher score on that assignment or project. Compare yourself to you. That's what the challenge is. That's what I always try to do. Compare yourself to the you of yesterday, last week, last month, last year, August. And that's what we're talking about with improvement and growth. And it's so exciting to me to see and hear all the great stories of your accomplishments this year. That's what this is all about. Something else we're all about at Lakeview is not only being outstanding students, but outstanding citizens. And we haven't been in here for a program, but parents, on our wall over here, we have our 5 Miller 5 traits that we talk about, preach, repeat all the time. Ready, respectful, responsible, resilient, relational. And we believe at Lakeview that really any behavior that a student does that is both negative and positive, you can connect to one of those 5 words. You know, if I'm helpful to the teacher, if I talk back to my mom, if I work hard on that assignment, or I'm prepared at my desk ready to go, anything I do, positive and negative, fits in there. So you'll often hear our teachers saying things like, way to be resilient, you just never gave up, or I love how table 4 is ready to go and ready to learn, or you're being so relational when you welcome that new student into our class and invited them to play. So we're always looking for great examples of these 5 traits. We also remind our students that this isn't just for kids. It's pretty good for adults to do those 5 things too. And so our teachers, our staff always strives to do these things in our jobs as well as we serve your kids. So this is extra fun for me. I love watching our teachers choose and celebrate the students who best exemplified in their homerooms each of those 5 traits. So students, listen to me right here. If you get called up here for a certificate now, to me that is extra special, because your teachers see something very powerful in you, in your citizenship, how you live your daily life at school, how you treat others. Your teacher has spotted something. So if you get called up here, I want you to feel really, really good about that accomplishment. So we'll do one for each of those traits, and then the teacher will also recognize the student in the class who showed all 5 at the highest level. So that's the Miller 5 Award. To me, that's probably the most special award we give, because that's a student who's just bringing it all in every day. So for our very special Miller 5 Awards, we'll start off again with Miss Rundle.
First, I want to say, before they take the mic away from me, that there are students in my class that are not getting an award today, but that I have thoroughly enjoyed in class. I've seen your hard work, I've enjoyed your discussions, and I've enjoyed your fun personalities. So if you're walking away today without an award, that does not mean that you did not bring value to our classroom and you weren't loved, because you were. And I appreciate each of you that has worked so hard and been so much fun this year. I also, any one of these that I'm giving the Ready, Respectful, Responsible, Resilient, Relational Award to, you showed all 5. Honestly, showed all 5. I had to choose one to show the Miller 5 and then narrow down the others, but it was tough because I have a great bunch. But the student I chose for Ready is a student who was more in her shell at the beginning of the year and has really matured and come out of her shell and jumped out and been helpful and ready all the time to do whatever needs to be done, and that's Miss Corey McIntyre. And for the respectful award in my class, this student, I'm not sure that he could even be disrespectful. I don't think it's in his bones, and that is Phoenix Riker. And he is stylish on the stairs too. For responsibility in my room, I had several students that are super responsible, but one really stood out pretty much every way I can expect them to show responsibility, and that's Julie and Rosa. And for resilient in my room, we had a lot of students that showed resiliency this year, but the one that I felt persevered quietly, always doing what needed to be done, even when it was hard, with a great attitude, is Miss Paula Perez Loya. And for the relational award, we have quite a few relational kids in our room, and mostly very appropriately at school, because sometimes they're so relational it makes learning hard in a group setting, but they did great. But I did have one that's, she's always looking to welcome the new person, to make someone feel more comfortable, to heal wounds, to help where she can, and that is Miss Alex Primera. And for that Big Miller 5, the one who, when I talk with Miss Bustos, you're like, which one are we going to pick that really stands out in all 5 categories? And it is Miss Kate Maddox. And Miss Bustos will bring Miller 5 for her class.
So in my class, we are going to start with the Respectful Award. I could have also chosen this particular student for any of our Miller 5, but she definitely stood out for always being respectful. And this award goes to Miss Bailey Johnson. All right, and for the Responsible Award, me and Ms. Rundle both agreed on this one as well. In both classes, he is an absolute rock star. So for our Responsible, it goes to Mr. Jax Bertoletti. All right, for our Resilient Award, I chose this student particularly because she is a slower worker in the best way. She takes her time on everything because she cares to get it right. So for our Resilient, it goes to Miss Rachel Sparkman. All right, for the next one, for our Ready Award, I can always count on the student to know exactly what to do and when to do it. She rarely needs reminders on what she should be doing after assignments, in the morning, after when we're packing up to go home, whenever, any part of the day, she's always on it and always ready. So this goes to Miss Oriana Durante. All right, and then this last one for relational, I chose this student in particular because he is, anytime we've gotten a new student, and we've gotten a few this year, he is always jumping up to help them in any way that he can. whether that's to get his Chromebook, or to find where we're going to seat him, or to have someone to sit with at lunch, or whatever. So our relational award goes to Mr. Ty Nelson. All right, and then for the overall Miller 5 Award, I absolutely love this kid. And one day we're going to play basketball together so that I can also beat him in basketball, because we still have the argument that he thinks I lost in our spoons tournament, even though he knows I did not. And anytime we play rock, paper, scissors, I also win every single time because I just don't lose. So I'm trying to teach him this as well in basketball. He is just our cream of the crop in every single way. It's Mr. Landon Carter. All right, to present next is Mrs. Ellis.
Miller 5. So, we're just going to go ahead and dive on in here. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is respectful. As a whole, I feel like my class is very respectful. Anytime we go to specials or somewhere else in the building, most of the time, we get that compliment that we're very respectful to our teachers. But this student sticks out to me in so many ways, and she could have probably had a few different awards, but this young lady is just very special to me, and I've loved just watching her grow this year and just come more and more out of her shell, and she's just so polite and so kind, and that goes to Miss Sophie Burrell. And she's the best big sister also. And my next Miller 5 is for responsible. So this student could run my classroom, probably has run my classroom a few times when I've needed to step out in the pod for something. Always knows what's going on. I just have to be like, hey, what are we supposed to be doing? Where are we going for specials? What do you need for STEM or gifted or whatever it may be? Because I don't always have it together, but thank goodness for this child. And I, again, have just loved watching her. I've known her for a very long time. And so my responsible award goes to Miss Addison Croft. My next award is for being resilient. So this one is really special as well. They're all special, so I'm sorry, I'm a broken record, but this one really is a special one for me. This student came to us a little later in the year and has just shown so much growth. It's just so fun to watch him learn every single day, to watch him make new friends and just become a great young man. And he has the best hair, and that goes to Mr. Ed Ward. Okay, next is ready. So this child, again, keeps me in line, helps me, especially during the morning and at the end of the day, we're always rushing around. Miss Ellis, you've got to get out there for duty. I know, where's my sunglasses? And so she's always bringing me anything that I need, always putting my Chromebooks away for me, passing my Chromebooks out, making sure my chargers are in line so we're not stepping all over them. She can run my room as well. I've loved watching her grow this year, both academically, socially. She's just phenomenal. And that goes to Morgan Stump. She's gotten taller too. And last is relational. So relational is a big one for me because my biggest takeaway for my students is that we are one great big team, and if one person's not doing the right thing or not holding it together, then we've got to help that person. And, especially we've had a lot of new students as well this year, so just welcoming those kiddos, but also just being someone who everyone wants to work with, being someone who, hey, I'm not sure who I'm going to put with this student, so this person I can always say, hey, will you work with this kiddo? And so that student is Mr. Jonah Fox. And the big shebang, the Miller 5, showing them all. I have a few kiddos that I could give this to, but this student is for sure a standout. She is so kind to everyone she meets. She is not afraid to work with anyone. She is not afraid to run an errand for me. She does whatever I ask her to do with a smile. And I've asked her to do some pretty difficult things. But I'm going to miss her so much. And I'm so proud of her. And that goes to Ashley Brown. Okay, and next is Mrs. York.
Okay, so down to the Miller 5. This is for the Respectful Award. This kiddo, I've also known a very long time. He always uses yes ma'am, sometimes yes sir accidentally, but I'll take it. And no matter what I ask of him, he always jumps in to do that. And that is Mr. Cohen Croft. Next, for our Responsibility Award, this young lady always has it together. Always. I can turn around and it's like she's reading my mind, and she knows exactly what I know. She knows that I need next, whether it's passing out Chromebooks, getting someone's charger, telling me that somebody is gone or needs something from me, and that young lady is Miss Kendall Dover. I think lunch has started. So we'll get right through these. My next award is for the most resilient. And this young man, his effort this year has just been outstanding. Even when he doesn't understand something or he's lost, he's not afraid to ask. And that is Mr. Ronaldo Reynoso. Next is the Ready Award. And I'd say it's because she's ready all the time, but the truth is it's because she has me ready all the time. From the time she walks in the door until her bus comes, she has the whole classroom ready to go. And thank God for her, and that is Miss Catherine Garcia. Next one that's, again, like Miss Ella said, very special to me is the Relational Award. Because I think as our kids have gone through COVID, it's sometimes hard for them to relate to each other. But this young man, when things get hard in math and somebody has a question that they can't answer, he's the first one to jump in and go, hey, we got you, you can do this, no problem. I see Miss Martin shaking her head because she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And that young man is Mr. Ryder Martinez. And our last award for the Miller 5, this young lady, I never have to ask her to do anything. She does it automatically. She has everything in, she helps others, she asks me every day, how are you doing? And as teachers, we don't always get that. And I so appreciate her and her family, and that goes to Miss Gloria Abraham. I know we're going to get out of here, but I just wanted to mention two things before we go. One is that Lakeview has a very important person retiring this year. I've taught with her for 16 years between Skyview and Lakeview. And guys, you know what I'm talking about, friends, when you don't know what's going on, you go ask this person. And that's Mrs. Rundle. So if we can just give her a round of applause. And the last thing, I just wanted to, I wanted us to recognize Mr. Hine. He has been my principal for the last 11 years. He's been a friend, a colleague, and a mentor. He will be sorely missed at Lakeview, and we just want him to know that Lakeview will always be your home, and we love you.
All right, Miss Rundle, you got tissues up there? Oh, wow. Well, thank you again for joining us, parents. We're so glad you're here. We recognize that all of this success doesn't happen without teamwork between these amazing teachers and you. So thank you for all the things you've done behind the scenes at home to keep your kids ready, engaged, learning, getting them what they need, supporting what goes on here. It truly is a partnership, and we could not do without you. Students, how about a hand for the parents over here? Let's give them a big hand. I also want to recognize that these four ladies that just presented, along with Mrs. Harden, Mrs. Olson, have done an amazing team effort in Pod 3 to lead learning. Parents, I've done this a long enough time that I think I'm qualified to say, I know when I've got a rock star team, and this Pod 3 is a rock star team. Let's give a hand to these teachers. like to thank Mrs. Mann, our wonderful fifth grade counselor, helping us with certificates and doing countless things every day to support students in and outside of learning. Mrs. Frame, our amazing assistant principal. She got every single one of those certificates printed and ready for you all. She worked very hard to get this program together. So, thank you all again, those here and online, for joining us today and helping us celebrate success. Parents, come on down, find your kid on the way out, give them a hug, a kiss, take a picture, embarrass them. You have my full permission to do whatever you want to do to make them feel loved. Thank you for coming. Have a great day, everybody.